Hi everybody, hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Since my last video I have facilitated the caregiver support group on my own for the first time, and I was obviously a little nervous previous to that, especially because I was being observed, but it went well. The only thing that really I had to think about afterwards was ways of including the very quiet members a little bit more. So that's something I need to work on. During the session, one of the support group members revealed that she'd gone to pick her husband up at a daycare centre. He has Alzheimer's. And when she got there, she found him with a bandage on his arm from wrist to elbow, and he had a stubbed toe. And when she got him home and looked under the bandage, he had quite a nasty gash on his arm, and she did take photographs of it. However, she did not receive a phone call when it happened, and none of the staff appeared to know what had happened. Nobody could give her any explanation for it. So we were talking about that and the fact that she should have received a phone call. There should have been an investigation. She was talking about, not wanting to cause trouble for her husband, there may be repercussions, but still she wants to know what happened, and said, well, the only way you're going to find out is to actually speak with the centre manager who wasn't there on that day, but you really need to go and speak with her. So hopefully by the next session that we have, that will have been resolved to some extent. But the other members of the group were also urging her to do the same. This last week I had a visit to a client for respite care, and this gentleman is in his 50s, his wife is in her 50s, and she has frontotemporal degeneration. And it was a very, very sad case. She started with it in her late 40s. He said that now her behaviour is a lot easier to handle because she's much more compliant, she's more withdrawn. It's not good for her because it shows that the disease is progressing, but as regards the caregiver, it makes it easier for him. But he has gone through some horrendous times with it. She was actually misdiagnosed as being a schizophrenic at one time, put on medication. He said those 2 weeks she was on that medication were the worst 2 weeks of his life. When she was going through the earlier stages, she was very aggressive, physically, verbally, socially inappropriate. He took her to a neurologist, and during the journey, she tried to get out the car, she tried to grab the steering wheel, she turned the key in the ignition, and he literally had to drag her in to see this doctor. But she was finally diagnosed, and his thing was he had looked for a support group in the area, and there is not a support group, and he really feels isolated. And that was actually one of the things that came out at the caregiver conference, that the importance of support groups with this type of dementia, because there's nothing you can do apart from educate caregivers. So he had been in touch with a local paper who were interested in doing a story for one of those Sunday supplements. He has been in touch with them actually 3 times, and nobody has been around to speak with him. So the nearest support group, there are 2 actually, but they're both in the capital. That's 60 miles away, so that's too far for him to go. And so we were talking, my supervisor and I, about it afterwards, and she said that that was something that she would like to look into. Obviously, whoever will be running a support group on for this dementia would have to be specially trained. Maybe there isn't a support group in the area because people don't want to admit. There's denial, there's misdiagnosis because it happens so early that that's a problem. But putting out to the group, what I'd like to put out today is to ask you, have any of you ever had to set up a support group, or be part of a group that, started a support group, just to, maybe feedback some ideas on, how that can be initiated, because I feel that this is, there's a huge gap here, and the people who are taking care of these, people suffering from this dementia are particularly isolated. So I look forward to your feedback. Thank you.